When Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is and we are all more for having heard it.
With it, this one is so fully off of the mother plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, you and the horse that you rode in on.
Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Let's get into this. We're gonna get to some of this drama because it was drama indeed. And like, I normally don't go when I hear people speak, and I normally don't go when I hear people speak at Amfest, right? It's normally, to be honest, it's normally pep rally type stuff and the same people talking about the same stuff. I'm just being honest. But young people, it's their first experience. So they're seeing it for the first time. Me doing it for 7 years now, it's kind of the same stuff. This year wasn't the same. And it wasn't just because Charlie wasn't there. It's because people went off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite campaign of the year. I've been waiting all year to do this. I want you guys to support me and Angel Tree to provide Christmas gifts for young people whose parents are incarcerated. They're going to get a Bible. They're going to get a gift that they want. We have shoppers shopping for these gifts, and they're going to get a letter, a special letter from a parent who's incarcerated so they don't feel left alone this season. Everybody knows how beautiful the season of Christmas and the season of giving is. I want you to be a part of that. $30 will help one kid. And I also have a caveat here. I want somebody, and I want to get at least 10 people to price match me. We're gonna celebrate helping 300 kids. Join the 300 Club. And if you are able to do it, if God bless you with the finances, I want you to do it. If you can match the 300 Club giving, I'm going to invite you out to Arizona. We're going to go to a beautiful steakhouse, have a good meal, smoke some cigars if you're interested in cigars. And we got a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to provide for you. All you have to do is go to angeltree.com/Tatum. The link will be in the description section. Give whatever God has purposed on your heart to give. That can be $1, that can be $100, or it could be $9,000, which is to join the 300 Club. Either way it go, I want you to give. I want us to blow this campaign out of the water. God bless you, and I look forward to celebrating with you and helping young people have a Christmas they deserve.
Let's go with your boy Ben Shapiro first. And I'll just give my opinion about his speech. I didn't watch his entire speech. The clips that I saw from Ben Shapiro, I thought were excellent. I thought they were appropriate, and they were excellent. And even if you don't agree with everything Ben Shapiro says, which means that he may have called out somebody you like, at least I can respect the fact that Ben Shapiro said what he felt needed to be said. And everybody else had their chance. And some people just didn't do a good job at it. Let's roll some of the highlights from Ben Shapiro's speech. We're going to get to a couple other people's speeches as well, and I'm going to talk about it. Roll the clip.
If we agree with the guest, that's fine, but we should own it. So, for example, if you host a Hitler apologist, not-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes,
True.
You know, the Nick Fuentes who said that the Vice President of the United States is a, quote, fat race traitor married to a the person who said that Charlie Kirk was a, quote, the person who said, and pardon my language here, it's his quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA and f***ed it, and that's why it's filled with groypers. If you have that person on your show and you proceed to glaze him, you ought to own it.
Time out. You notice that he didn't say you can't interview the guy. I don't know why people are lying to themselves and trying to y'all making Ben Shapiro look like the man again. Y'all, if y'all hate him, you might as well like actually critique the stuff that he's saying and not saying. Ben Shapiro did not say that you can't interview these people. He never said you should cancel anybody. I've never heard Ben Shapiro say you should cancel Nick Fuentes. But if you go interview the guy and he say something crazy, at least you can do a real interview. Roll the clip.
There is a reason that Charlie Kirk despised Nick Fuentes, and indeed even chided Dinesh D'Souza for debating him. He knew that Nick Fuentes is an evil troll, and that building him up is an act of moral imbecility. And that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. He built Nick Fuentes up. And he ought to take responsibility for that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged trafficker Andrew Tate, or for mainstreaming fake historian and pseudo apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most honest popular historian. Hosts are indeed responsible for the guests they choose and the questions they ask those guests.
True. I don't hear it a lot yet.
Fourth, because we have a duty to truth, we also have a duty to provide you with evidence of the claims that we make. Emotive accusations, conspiracy theories, and just guessing questions, that's lazy and stupid and misleading. None of them are a substitute for truth. None of them are a substitute for evidence. So, when Candace Owens says, "I don't know, but I know," that is and we are all more for having heard it.
Now, I wasn't there, but my wife was there, and my mother-in-law was there. And the consensus of Ben Shapiro's speech, which could have been a lot of people that wanted to hear Ben Shapiro speak, that's why they were there. Ben Shapiro's speech was that people enjoyed what he said, and they agreed with it, and they gave him a round of applause. He did not get booed, I don't think, one time. And we'll get to Candace Owens' response because Candace Owens came out and responded to what he said, because he said a lot of other stuff about Candace Owens, but that was just a snippet of what he said that kind of went viral. So this is Candace Owens' response to what Ben Shapiro said at the Turning Point event. Roll the clip.
With it. This one is so fully off of the mother plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, you and the horse that you rode in on.
Whoa.
And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
I'll tell you what, boy, it got juicy when it came to them two. But Ben Shapiro didn't stop with criticizing Candace Owens. That was her response. And maybe I'll give my opinion about Ben Shapiro when I'm done with his responses to people, because I got a lot to say about Ben Shapiro. And I'm going to save it to the end because I want y'all to see this next clip. So he didn't just say something and call out Candace Owens. Candace Owens responded. He also came out and said something about Megyn Kelly, and she responded. Here's Ben Shapiro. Roll it.
The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. Meghan Markle is a young mother. Ilhan Omar is a young mother. That doesn't matter. And when Megyn said this week, quote, "My goal and my job here is to try to understand, yes, where Candace is coming from on this," and says she sees no purpose in inserting herself, quote, into this on one side, that is a moral and logical absurdity. There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side.
And here is Megyn Kelly's response. She was on stage with Jack Posobiec. Here's her response to what Ben Shapiro said. Roll it.
Your name came up on this stage last night in regards to pretty much all of this. Would you like the opportunity to respond?
Well, I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement, which shows a willful blindness about his position in it. It reminded me a little of when the girl who was the head of our middle school chorus told me she was going to take all my friends away from me. Chorus? A head cheerleader maybe, but like, so I resent the whole thing. I object to the whole thing. Ben and I, he had the nerve to call me a friend right before he called me a despicable coward for not calling out the people he once called out. So he both wants to parent me and be my child. He wants to tell me what I have to do and who I have to say what to. And then when I don't, he and some of his friends want to act like utter victims because I won't do what they say. They need me. I have to be their daddy and step in to protect them. And I am not their daddy. And I resent that he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when. Thank you. So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel. And I helped make him a star. And I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot. And so I tried to do something nice for him by giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe. And thank you. And when it was over, we hugged, said goodbye, and then we had a nice text exchange a couple days later saying our friendship was important to us. And the next thing I saw was him attacking me on stage last night as a coward. So that's not friendship, and I think that's fine with me.
Now I gotta say something here. Megyn Kelly, I follow Megyn Kelly. I liked Megyn Kelly, but he told you the same thing to your face on stage. Like, I don't understand how all of a sudden we're not friends. Her articulation is that they're not friends anymore because she's so shocked that he said that she was a coward for doing it. He told her on her show, on stage, that you can't just not say nothing about what Tucker Carlson. It's no excuse that that's your friend to not disagree with them. As you guys all know, Candace is my friend, but I disagree with her. I call out everything that she said about Turning Point being involved and everything. I disagree with it. I think to me, it is nonsensical to think that Turning Point, with no evidence, has something to do with Charlie's death or covering up his death. I see those guys. I meet those guys. I've been knowing them for years. I think it's nonsensical. The hatred towards Israel and the things that Candace has said about Israel, I disagree with. But she's still my friend. And the same thing with Megyn Kelly, the problem that Ben has with Megyn Kelly, that I also disagree with Megyn Kelly, is that you don't have to say, I don't like Tucker Carlson. You don't have to say that. I don't say that about Candace. But if Tucker Carlson interviews Nick Fuentes and literally sniffs his butt the whole time, you could at least say, I don't like the Tucker Carlson interview with Nick Fuentes. I love Tucker, but I don't like the interview. I don't think it's right. Just like when Candace says things that I disagree with, I don't have to go out of my way to say, Candace Owens said this, Candace Owens said that. I don't need to go out of my way to say that. But I do I have an obligation as a functioning adult with a platform that if she says something I disagree with, and that's not my opinion, then I need to express what my opinions are and what are the things that I disagree with. I don't understand how people don't understand that. If my dad was online right now making content and he was saying Donald Trump is a racist, I will make content to say, here is why Donald Trump isn't a racist. You know that my dad said this, and you know I'm disagreeing with him. I don't have to get to say, every time I say something, I got to say, my daddy said this, so I'm going to do it. My daddy is a clown. My daddy is this. I know my father. I have personal conversation with him. But Megyn Kelly won't even disagree. She won't disagree. Nick Fuentes is and you won't even say, I would have liked to have seen the interview go a different way. Is that too hard to act? That's why Megyn Kelly, I don't understand her. I want to give a big shout out to Blackline Security Operations. Is the company that I started, and well, we started. It's a few of us, some guys who are way more qualified than I am when it comes to security and EP. But we started that organization, and it's been incredible. I mean, we've been able to help people that are in Congress right now. We've been able to help ambassadors. I mean, you name it. Blackline Security has been able to help just about everybody. And shout out to my guy, Nick Shirley. Y'all need to go follow him on social media. We were able to protect him just the other day when he was talking to these crazy Somalians about the corruption that they're doing. So shout out to Blackline Security Ops. If you want to get security, a lot of you guys need it. You just don't know where to go to find it. So all you got to do is go to blacklinesecurityops.com, fill out the form, look at what we do. And if you're an influencer or somebody who can't afford security, check out our Guardian Fund, and that's for people who can't afford to have all their security needs covered, and it's primarily for people who are, schools or individuals who are influencers like myself and others. Will help you. We'll try to do our best to help you. I can't say we help everybody. If somebody want to give us $20 million, we can help everybody. If somebody want to give us $1 million, we can help a whole bunch of people. But right now we're fundraising. We're trying to get enough funds in the system to try to help as many people as we can that get security, because we need to be able to speak the doggone truth without worrying about getting killed over it. But let's talk about Steve Bannon, because Ben Shapiro also has something to say about Steve Bannon. Let's roll that clip.
Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country. He's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein. Check the record.
Now, Steve Bannon responded, wrote a clip.
Now, Benji Shapiro sat up here last night, and he was all, I'm going to, it's all about the truth. Ben, I've known you a long time, brother. You can't handle the truth. Let's face it, Ben Shapiro is the farthest thing from MAGA. Let's be blunt. He is a hardcore never-Trumper. He's a hardcore never-Trumper. In the spring of 16, he tried to upend Breitbart. He walked off the job, made a big deal about some incident in Mar-a-Lago with Corey Lewandowski. He tried to turn it to Ted Cruz from Donald Trump because he hated Donald Trump. In the general election, he barely supported Donald Trump. The first sign of when President Trump gets sent back to Mar-a-Lago, the very first individual that jumped on the Ron DeSantis train, the Israel First train, was Ben Shapiro. And those are the darkest days we had. In 21 and 22, you guys were there. He's consistently been against Trump, and now that President Trump doesn't back the Greater Israel Project. What is Greater Israel? It's not about Israel itself. It's about an expansionist Israel, an imperial Israel that Netanyahu and that crowd have thought up. And the Israel First crowd is Ben Shapiro, Tel Aviv Mark Levin, and many others that want to put that ahead of America's interests.
These people are stupid. All right, I got to just check on Steve Bannon real quick. I don't understand. I mean, people have their own people that they like, so we get it. People like Steve Bannon and like Ben Shapiro. But the accusations against Ben Shapiro is kind of stupid, in my opinion. And when Ben Shapiro fired Candace, I became very upset with Ben Shapiro, and I didn't want to work with Daily Wire anymore. Not the people, I just didn't want to work with them because I didn't like the way they handled the Candace situation when it happened. But real recognize real, bruh. Ben Shapiro did not like Donald Trump in 2016. He was against Donald Trump in 2016, clearly. So was J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance called Donald Trump Hitler or something crazy. J.D. Vance was the biggest Trump hater out of any person that I've ever seen. J.D. Vance said the craziest things that I've ever heard anybody say about Donald Trump on our side, ever. I've never heard anybody say what J.D. Vance said about Trump. But why the double standard? Because Ben Shapiro did not like Trump, but then he became more favorable to Trump. He supported Trump. He voted for Trump. He's an advocate for Trump now. J.D. Vance hated Trump's guts, and now is the vice president for Donald Trump. So Steve Bannon, why is it necessary to come out and try to say this because you got your feelings hurt? That stuff makes no sense to me. Steve Bannon came out and said Donald Trump is going to run for a third term. What are you saying, bro? What about the build the wall scam that went let me not get into it. People went to jail over that. It was a scam. They took people's money. And even if Steve Bannon wasn't directly the culprit in it, you partner with a guy that stole money and went to prison over it, and you were a part of raising that money and taking that money. And then this guy had a wife his own OnlyFans. I don't know. You got to take responsibility for that kind of stuff. And Ben Shapiro ain't involved in that, is he? It's only Steve Bannon and other people that are involved in drama and chaos and illegal activity.